to CLX Foundry Live Halloween Edition.
Hi everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX, or at least the shell of him. I decided to wear my skeleton on the outside. We've got a great show ahead for you today, and we've got our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and our master builder, it is Zach, the Mandalorian Killingsworth. Gentlemen, how are you?
Hi.
Doing good.
I'm going to cause some children some very, very big nightmares tonight, because I plan on literally just hiding behind the door and then just standing up. However, this thing is hot and it's sweaty. So let's start by saying, listen, we got a great project for Kevin in Massachusetts. And it was there's a whole lot of stuff, and we haven't never done this in this case before on the stream. So yeah, let me take off my skin and or put my skin back on. Paul, what have we got?
All right, so in this build today, we've got a set Oracle edition. So starting out with our processor, we've got the AMD Ryzen 9 5950X. To cool that, we've got the EK Nucleus AIO 240 Lux RGB. For our motherboard, we've got an ASRock B550 Phantom Gaming AC. For our memory, we've got 2 sticks of G.Skill 32GB DDR4 3600 speed Trident Z5, so a total of 64 gigs of memory in this system. Next ready, you got it.
I was just waiting.
Oh, that's great. I shouldn't have looked at chat.
That's hilarious.
Got him.
For our storage drives, we've got for our main drive, we've got a single Samsung 4TB 990 Pro NVMe M.2, and we have a secondary 4TB Seagate Barracuda hard disk drive as some extra storage. For our video card, we've got an RTX 4060 8GB from MSI. And we also have a sound card from Creative Labs, the Sound Blaster AE5. 9 of our Game DS Aeolus M2 fans in black. And for our power supply, we've got an EVGA 750 watt GT. This is 80 plus gold. And this customer did get a black and red cable mod sleeved cable kit for that.
Ooh, nice. That should be awesome. All right, cool. Well, we'll go ahead and get this started. Now, obviously, the Oracle is a limited time that you can get this, and look at that. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's some other cool things that are going to go in here that are a little bit different than some of the previous builds you may have seen. Now, don't forget, and thank you, by the way, for all of the loves. Hello, TikTok. Wish I had the extra way for listen, so don't we all? So, if you have any questions, or you hear a term that's used that just doesn't make any sense to you, please feel free to ask. We would love to answer your questions. What's up, Mustache? How you doing?
Hey, we're in Kansas as well.
Yeah.
Michael's in the house. Hello down on Facebook and over on the YouTubes as well. Hello, how's it going? All righty. Now, this case is obviously a little bit different. This is a CLX Neo Cube, but it's a mirror Oracle edition. Do we want to talk about that now, or we'll talk about that once we get the case up here?
How about that? Good, yeah.
All right, now our motherboard is actually pretty cool. It is an ASRock B550 Phantom 4 gaming AC. Get that out. We'll take a look at this, and this gives us a chance once again to go over what a rear panel I/O shield looks like and why they're important to be safe with, or you can also use them as weapons. Please don't. Here we go. So Zach, walk us through the particulars of how to make sure that you're handling this correctly.
Yes. So ideally, when we have a I/O shield, sometimes on the back side of it there will be this little tab right here. On this one, it is on the HDMI. Sometimes it's on a LAN port. But what we want to do is we just want to push that flush against the back. And what that does is it prevents from when we install the motherboard into the case, it prevents that little tab from going into our HDMI port. Now, usually with an HDMI cable, we are plugging that into our graphics card. But if we ever did some onboard troubleshooting, if we had a G-Unit processor, it might cause some damage to our motherboard if that little tab was inside the port. It'd be a big no-no.
All right, let's take a look at that I/O shield real quick. So we know we've got at the very top, we've obviously got our PS2. That is for legacy mouse and keyboard. And then, of course, we have 6 different USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports all the way around. You've also got your HDMI port at the top, plus you've got your RJ45 LAN port and your HD audio jacks along with the 2 antenna ports. So there we go. And now we'll take a look at this. But first, we got to figure out how we're going to get this thing a brain. For the brain, we're going to be using an AMD Ryzen 9 5950X. This is actually a really cool CPU. So, Paul, tell us a little bit about this this processor.
Yes, like you said, this is the Ryzen 9 5950X. It is a 16-core, 32-thread processor with a base speed of 3.4, and it will boost all the way up to 4.9. So very, very good processor here.
Love it. That is fantastic. Quentin Whitaker says, how do I go about getting one of these?
That's pin-tastic. Ha, ha,
oh, Lord.
Ha, 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 ha.
It's Fun Pun Thursday. Welcome to the show.
Fun pun.
How do I go about getting one of these builds, or how much for just the case? I do not believe we sell the case individually.
Nope, we do not sell the case individually. Yeah. This is just for our builds.
And let's see here. Mustache mentions that y'all built my Oracle, but had to upgrade me to the Lone Evo 11 RGB case because of the 3090 to the GP.
Okay. Oh yeah, sometimes that GPU, you got a pretty high-end GPU there, so it's probably a fitment issue. Now we probably could fit it in that smaller one, but we'd like to leave a little bit of room because sometimes those power cables, we don't want them too close to the glass side panel.
Fides is in the house. What up? How are you? No leaf clover. Don't get why my motherboard manufacturers don't connect. Oh, I don't get why motherboard manufacturers don't connect the IO shield on all motherboards. There's a reason some don't. Is there a reason some don't?
I think the reason that some don't is just cut costs a little bit, make the motherboard, however, $1 cheaper or whatever it would take to tool that in. I agree, it would be really nice to see all motherboards come with a built-in IO shield. We are seeing that a lot more now, so hopefully, in the future it'll be that way, but yeah.
Yeah. I hear you on the heavy case there, Mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now right now what Zach's doing is Zach is getting all of the what are they, mounting posts? Is that how you say it?
Yes.
And these are for the AIO. So how do these affect mounting the AIO so that you're not putting excess stress on the board?
Yes, so when you get whatever heat distribution device, whether that be a heat sink or an all-in-one or anything like that, you want to pick out the right hardware, mounting hardware. There are several different pieces to all kits usually. There will be a retention kit with Intel. You will have a retention kit and a back plate. AMD's back plate usually comes pre-installed. That is what these little plastic clips usually hold it down with. And then you just want to install the correct standoffs. The reason being, they will vary in different heights. So some processors require a little bit higher up, some require a little bit lower down. So that is the difference there. And then you just want to attach all of the equipment properly, and it will all cool off perfectly. It's really nice system.
So we have an interesting question coming in over the TikTok side. And what's up, Juan? Welcome back. Good to see you, my friend. So MLP Juan says, is an i9 12900K better than the i7 14700K?
So that is a good question. Now, the first question is going to be, what are you doing with it? Because there might be some applications where that i9 performs better than the 14700. That being said, if you're gaming though, and just doing gaming, the i9 is a great processor. The 14700K is also a great processor. So I'd probably go with the 14th gen just because it's a little bit newer. You get a newer motherboard and go with that, but it's not like either one of those are going to perform poorly.
Also, if you want to take a look at how that's how I usually look at them, is I will just go to Google and type i9 12900K versus i7 14700K, and usually the first one that shows up is the user benchmark. It's called CPU userbenchmark.com. It's a really great site, but it gives you a good wide array of information on them. So he's gonna be Juan's gonna be gaming on it.
Just gaming? Yeah, I'd probably go with the 14700 then.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Some of those stickies are a little hard to get off. I just left the one on the screen. That was it. I didn't know if we wanted to pull that off now or wait till this. Oh, okay. And that one's a little separate too, isn't it?
So Mustache has an interesting question about what are your thoughts on the new Ultra Core processors?
Oh yeah, so I haven't got to test any yet, but we did build one on Tuesday. We actually have that build right there. It's got the new Ultra 9 285K in it. So we will get that into the lab sometime soon and run some tests on it.
What's up? Perfect Harmony.
There we go. Perfect Harmony, thank you so much for that sub. Glad to have it. Appreciate you being here. Fidus does bring up an interesting point about the 13th and 14th gens having the oxidation issue, but I believe that's been solved.
Yeah, there is a fix that can be ran. It's probably going to be on, like all the new parts you would buy now, so you shouldn't have that issue, but you can always run that fix when you get it.
Chill Phil's in the house. Hello. Welcome in. Glad to have you all here. And for those of you who are just joining, this is what I opened up with. It is a great concept, but oh my gosh, it's like instant sweat. Just drenched. Awful. It's like, hey, it looks cool, but in theory, good grief. What PC are we working on today? Today we're building a PC for our friend Kevin in Massachusetts. Okay, now we're getting our AIO on there. Now for our AIO, this is interesting. This is something I think we've only used once before on this show. This is an EK Nucleus AIO. It's a CR240 Lux. Paul, what can you tell me about this?
So it's pretty similar to most AIOs. It's got a LCD on the pump that Zach is putting down right now. Pretty standard connectors on it. Yeah, I like that it's magnetic right there. That is kind of cool. But other than that, pretty standard AIO. The radiator is a little bit different. You can see it right here on the top of your screen. You see how this comes out a little bit. That. So you got to be a little bit careful on what fans you choose to mount on there. These fans are going to go fine, but we have had some that that caused issues. There's some fans that you can connect together without any cables, and sometimes there's a tab on there that can bump into that. But other than that, pretty standard AIO.
Nice. First datum. All right, first datum. No worries. Long questions are fun. So sorry for the long message. I was wondering if you guys could recommend the absolute best case fans. Price is not an option. Would prefer no RGB. My case fans appear to be a bit noisy and would like the PC to be seen and not heard. Thinking about the existing RGB case fans.
All right, so good question. Since you said price is not an option, the fans that I would go with if I were you are there's some Leon Lee very high-end ones that all connect together. What are the Uni fans, right, Zach? Are they the Uni? UNI? But if you don't like those, the Fantex D30s are also really good and connect together. So either one of those, I don't think you can go wrong. They are high-end, they are expensive, but they're really nice. They look great. The air they put out is awesome, and they all connect together. So if you have like 3 fans on the top of your case, the 3 fans will plug into each other, so you get like 1 brick of 3 fans, and then it's just 1 cable to power them.
We have a question coming in from Facebook. It's Robert Portugal. Says, I just ordered a PC from you folks a couple days ago. Would be cool to watch it be built here when it's at that stage.
Yeah, we can't make any promises on getting specific builds on the show, but if you reach out to us, our marketing team, if you tag Ivory, we can see what we can do. If we've got room in the schedule, we definitely could get you in.
And don't forget about our Discord page whenever you do receive it.
Oh yeah, Discord would be another way too to reach out to us if you prefer that.
Lindsay Media over on the YouTube side says, DJ, which do you prefer, turntables or controller? I started out on turntables a while ago, and I think there is an extraordinary, it's not that there's a deficit, but I feel like there are people who would benefit from having started with the basics, like vinyl, on direct drives, not belt driven, obviously, but moving from there, I now use controller for 2 reasons. One, I don't risk somebody hitting my car again and shattering my vinyl, which has happened. And also, I have more freedom to do things in a much more complex manner. So that's what I'm a controller guy here, but I have mad respect for anybody who's still a turntablist.
He's got more freedom to boogie.
Yes. And happy Halloween, everybody. We do see that. Splash Prince is back. Nolan down on the Facebook side says, same here, just ordered mine yesterday morning, and I would absolutely love to see y'all build it. Y'all is awesome. And yes, definitely join the Discord. The Discord is discord.gg/CLX Gaming. All right, so G-Skill. G-Skill is the name of the RAM that we're doing, and we're going to be doing two 32 gig sticks of G-Skill DDR4 3600. This is Trident Z5 Neo RGB. There we go. There's that little click.
First
When you're putting your
system I
RAM,
ever built was G-Skill and
Okay.
DDR3 Ripjaws.
I have a little fun fact about the new motherboard, because I built one of the new Ultra motherboards this morning, and I was noticing something about the memory modulars. Theirs are counted 1 from the outside, 4 on the inside.
Really?
Yeah.
That's just
But you still populate
how we would do it here.
this way, yes. Yeah.
your G-Skill makes beautiful looking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what 1 and 3,
Yeah.
but it looks the exact same.
Uh-huh.
Ugh. I don't like that.
Yeah, it was weird, because I was like, oh, I need to make sure I'm plugging this in right, apparently, and it was still the same. I'm like, you guy, you sneaky,
Yeah.
sneaky.
Noctua fans are easy. They are not RGB. They have some of the highest CFM numbers and are cheap. I got my Noctuas for $12 a piece. Excellent information, Fides. And go back over here. It's an G-Skill makes beautiful RAM. They actually do. Juan, back over on the TikTok side, says, do you recommend and CPU frame, does it do anything? I'm not sure how to... Paul?
A CPU frame. Is that... I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, but maybe it's the piece that goes on the CPU like before your AIO, and it can help, but
Those like heat blocks to where
Yeah.
it's like direct.
I probably wouldn't use one.
Well, I'll tell you what we are going to use. We've got a great storage in here. It's going to be a 2 terabyte Samsung 990 Pro NVMe M.2, and that's going to go in the M.2 slot right there directly on the board. Now, in addition to this, we're also going to be adding I said 2. I meant 4. My cursor was over there, but that is a 4 terabyte Samsung 990 Pro. And then we're going to have another additional 4 terabyte Seagate Barracuda that we'll be installing a little bit later. So a total of 8 terabytes. Now, I know sometimes we go over this, but I want to make sure that everybody understands what is the difference between an M.2 and the HDD.
So the biggest difference between the M.2 and the HDD is going to be the HDD has moving parts, and the M.2 is an SSD solid state drive, so it doesn't have any moving parts. So that's the biggest distinction there. Obviously, from the looks, they're way different, but the big thing to take away is these NVMe M.2 drives are incredibly fast and way faster than an HDD. Now, these HDDs are a great option for extra storage that doesn't come at a high price point. So, you got a big games library, photos, videos, whatever. It's a great cheap way to get extra storage to store all that, but I would definitely always put your operating system on an SSD like this M.2 drive.
Chill Phil says, I love watching you guys build PCs. It's so satisfying. I completely agree, and I'm glad to have you here. Down on the Facebook side, Casey Rodriguez says, Robert Portugal says, when I picked my build, I was torn between Intel Ultra 9 series and AMD 950 CPUs.
9?
Do you folks have any opinions on those two?
So I haven't tested any of the new Ultra Intel CPUs myself, so I can't really give you much of a honest opinion about that. But it sounds like you're looking at high end both ways. I can't imagine that you could really go wrong if you're looking at top of the line on either AMD or Intel.
Let's see here. Casey Rodriguez, if it's your birthday, happy birthday! All of us here. Mustache asks, what are your thoughts on liquid-cooled graphics cards versus air-cooled graphics cards?
Okay, I like this question. Yeah, we use both here. We've had the video cards that either have an AIO attached to them, like what Zach's installing on the CPU. But there's also ones that, for an open loop build that we also do, you take the cooler off and put a, you put a block on there. Jeez, it just slipped my mind. You put a water block on your video card, and those look cool because they're open loop. But for me, I always just use a standard video card with fans on it, just an air-cooled one. I don't really see the need in the performance difference. And when you're installing a second AIO in your build for your video card, it can be kind of hard to get it in a good position where it looks nice.
4090 cooler plates.
Nice. Alrighty.
Yeah, I would look.
Big Atlanta fan. How's it going? Welcome in. Chillphil asked if we prefer AMD or Intel, so I'm going to I'll start and let you guys. Here's the nice thing. I like them both. I use Intel for gaming. I use AMD for production. My production PC is an AMD build. I've got an Intel gaming PC. But for me, it's just like a matter of personal preference. Paul, thoughts?
Yeah, so both are really good right now. We get this question a lot on the show. 10 years ago, we might answer it a little differently, but right now, both are performing really great. My personal preference, I game on Intel, but that's not because I got anything against AMD. It's just what I've always used.
D'Artagnan, Shysum. Hey, welcome, first timer. Says, any guess on when the 5090 will be released? Question.
Your guess is as good as mine, but like most things, I would expect before the holidays, but we are getting pretty close to that time, so I don't know.
Just in time for all those New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
Of no, I'm not going to get any new technology this year. Oops.
Yeah, I'm on a 3090 OC and this thing still rocks. Down a Facebook side, hello, happy birthday. Yes, and Nolan Howard. Yours is on the 4th? Well, that's coming up soon. Very soon.
There we go. And 4060? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so now I've got that board in there. So when you are installing a board like this into a case like this, and this case technically qualifies as a 2/3 or 3/4 build, A, what are some things to keep in mind when you're mounting it? And B, what do I mean when I say it's a 3/4 build?
So what you mean with that is that this motherboard isn't sitting all the way on the bottom of the chassis. It's set about 2/3 down. Now when mounting your motherboard, it's the same as any other case. You want to make sure your standoffs are in the right position, and then your mounting screws obviously going into that. But what a 2/3 case does give you, typically the power supply is going to be in the back. Down here where this hole is, our power supply will be in the back of the case, and then extra storage drives will be around here, and then we've got a lot of room for extra cable management. So a good functional purpose would be our power supply is going to get its own air in from the back and shoot it out this hole right here. Power supplies don't generate a ton of heat, but there is some, so none of that will get into the main body of the case, which is always a plus.
That's a good question. Mystic.
Let's see here. Yeah, Mystic Gorilla asks, what is the difference between the 4070 Ti Super and the 4080 Super?
Yes, that's a good question. So the 4080 Super, just think of them, the 4080 Super is going to perform better than the 4070 Ti Super. Now both of those they're close. They are similar. The 4070 Ti Super is going to game really well. 4080 Super is also going to game really well. You'll just notice a little bit higher frame rate using that 4080 Super, depending on what resolutions you're playing at. There might be a difference in VRAM as well. It's hard for me to remember all the different models since there's so many now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't even try.
And then above that, it would be like the frequencies on
your core clock.
Yeah.
Joey Wheels, by the way, welcome in. Good to see you again. Joey mentioned that the word is the 50 series card will be released after CES 2025. That, who knows? It's possible.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I feel like we're like too close to the holidays almost. Like I feel like we would know now if it was coming out like by Black Friday.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see here. Phil says, I've always been comfortable with Intel as well. This new PC I built with you guys, and I'm trying AMD. Nice. I'm pretty sure you're going to be happy either way. Fightas brings up a good point. Mentions that the 4070s are more designed for 1440p gaming, where the 4080s are designed for 4K gaming.
Okay.
There we go.
There you
God for TV. Hello. Welcome in. Now, Mustache mentions I have two PCs, both running i9 12900KFs, one with 64 gigs of DDR4, one with 64 gigs of DDR5. The DDR4 PC is a 3080 Ti and the DDR5 is a 3090 Ti. Both perform very close to the same. How long till I would need to go to a newer gen graphics card like a 50 series?
So
Good question.
depending on what resolutions you're playing at and what games you're playing is really going to be the deciding factor there. But either way, even if you're playing at 4K on like AAA titles, you've got some really good cards in both those systems. So you're not going to need to upgrade for a few years at least. I'm still using a 2080 Super in my build at home. It's getting close to time to upgrade, but I'm not noticing like any significant performance loss right now. So.
Okay.
That's where that goes.
So, and you play 4K on four monitors each? Good God.
Yeah, that's one way. Yeah, okay.
There we go. I mean, I'm on a 3090 OC, which now the 3090 OC is different than the TI, right? Because there wasn't a 3090 Super. Was there?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So how big of a difference is it between a 3090 or between any just 90 series versus the 90 Ti series, especially if you've got an OC version?
Sure. So the OC, you'll find most cards are going to have OC somewhere in there. All that means is the brand that got it from NVIDIA is just push the base clock a little bit further than what it got to them as. So an overclock could be 1 megahertz higher, or it could be 100 megahertz higher. Anything that's higher just counts as an overclock, which is what OC stands for. Now the difference for a 3090 versus a 3090 Ti or any 90 series versus the Ti, those are obviously at the very high end of video cards, and as you go up the chain, there's a little bit of diminishing returns. So the 3090 Ti is pretty much always going to perform better than the base model 3090, but both of those are very high end and are going to perform very well.
Casey, I'm going to be honest. We're not singers. We're geeks. But happy birthday,
I
nonetheless.
can show you the world, shining, shimmering splendor. See?
Oh, dear God.
Perfect.
See, this is what happens. Splash Prince mentions my new PC looks exactly like the one in the back. Only difference is the red wiring and liquid cooler fans, I guess. Same Fantex build though. Nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Mystical Briella says, oh, by the way, Giga Chad, what's going on? What would be the best if I start streaming and handling the load?
As far as like 30.
Are you doing a dual PC?
Ti or something? Yeah.
Yeah, and are you gaming and streaming on the same machine?
Disk drives, uncut disk drives are ordered every now and then for our builds. You obviously don't see any optical drives in PCs anymore, but you can get a USB disk drive that just plugs in like a USB and it's a little disk drive to play all your games that way. And we do have those, I believe. I've definitely seen them. They not a lot of people order them.
Install them in workstations, a couple of servers every once in a while. Not a go-to for a gaming rig right now.
Robert Portugal down on Facebook says, how long do you think the 4090 will last for? Good question.
Many years, for sure.
Yeah.
If I had a 4090 in my system, I wouldn't shop for a video card for 3-4 years, maybe even longer. But it will depend, on what comes out. Maybe there's some, new game using new technology that comes out that needs something better, but 4090 is pretty awesome.
Mustache over on the purple side says maybe in a couple of years I'll have y'all build me another gaming PC with a new gen graphics card then.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like my build's gonna be great for a while. But if I ever upgrade anything, it's just gonna be that graphics card. Because I like my 13th gen. It has not done me wrong. Let's see here. So Vitus brings up a good point. Most games today use more GPU than CPU. So typically for streaming, you need a better GPU than CPU, and you can get away with 1080p streaming on a single PC. So as somebody who uses a dual PC system, you want to make sure that you have a strong enough or robust enough graphics card that it can handle multiple monitors, because like you're going to need your gaming monitor, Plus, you're also going to need what I call the production suite. So I am on 4 monitors. I have a chat monitor here. I have a monitor outbound here, my production monitor here, and then my gaming monitor here that I'm staring at. So just make sure it can handle all of that plus the game. So you streaming games? Yeah, nice. That's how I started. I just bought a PC from y'all with the Oracle print on the Infinity Mirror case, Ryzen 9 5900X and 4070 Super. Super stoked, can't wait for it. Hunter, that sounds very...
It's like you got inspired.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Super glad to hear it. Don't forget, if you'd like to, we have a spot in our Discord to share all your pictures of your CLX builds. Let me put that in here. There we go. It sounds like PC is going to be a beast. Yeah, that's going to be incredible. Plus, you've got the same... Casey, happy birthday, bud. Happy birthday.
Is it Casey's
Let's
birthday?
See here. It is Casey's birthday.
Oh, man.
So Fighters brings up an interesting point. It's all personal preference. So if you can use a smartphone in place of a monitor for reading chat, that could reduce the load. That is a very good point. Let's see here. What the thing is, both will be used, CPU and GPU as well. Yes. So I mean, for streaming, my streaming PC is a... Ooh, hello, Sound Blaster. That is a gorgeous card. Speaking of which, this is the Sound Blaster Creative Labs. It's a Sound Blaster AE5 Plus. We're going to be putting in there. This is actually a really, really nice sound card. So, Paul, what are some reasons why somebody would need an extra sound card?
So if you just want better audio quality, a lot of motherboards come with good audio headers built in, but if you want to take it to the next level, these sound cards are a great option. I know most of the people that I know that use them are specifically for like FPS players who want to amp up those footsteps. So I can hear people coming.
Ooh. So, Geek and Shadow over on the TikTok says, got the ASRock B660M RS Pro coming for the 12600K, and I'm going to flip it in the Aqua 5. I don't know what that means. Paul, what does that mean?
I'm not sure what the Aqua 5 is. Is that a case or an AIO?
While we're coming up with that, clarifiers on that one, back over to Facebook, Robert asks, what are the biggest factors for streaming capability on a high-end rig? Is it RAM, CPU? Just curious. Okay, so I've been doing this for 10 years now, full-time for the last while. So the biggest factor in there, you're gonna want to make sure that you've got a little more RAM than you think you should. So definitely 32 gigs. If you can roll 64, great. The bigger thing is capture cards. So there are a couple different companies that really stand out when it comes to capture cards, and they are Elgato and AverMedia. So the big thing there is to look at which one's software is going to be less intrusive on your system and less taxing. So I prefer ones that are plug and play, but we have Elgatos here on our site. They make everything from Stream Decks to you name it. But when it comes to that, the key is also going to be watching how, like, keep your task manager up when you're streaming and test that to look and see what's being used the most. And then you may need to pare down some of your graphics in your game so it kind of balances it out. But yeah. Let's see here. I did the Aqua 3 with this 11600K and 3060 already. Nice. Yes, it's a case. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Whoops. Would the Neo Cube 2 fit with a GPU vertical mount and keep the front panel still? Ooh.
I don't think they do a vertical mount for this.
This one is a little bit different case because you can put a very small ITX build in the back of it. So I haven't ever seen that done, but like if you see back here, this covering right here would be where your IO shield would go for your ITX build, and then you've got
Short
a couple
stacks.
low profile.
Stick a 6400 back there.
There you go.
Oh, heck yeah.
Two systems.
Darton.
in one.
Darton makes a good point. Says, first of all, Abstract makes some pretty nice motherboards, but I strongly dislike the RGB software. It never works a lot of the time. Also, Darton says, listen, if it doesn't fit, when in doubt, use a hammer. That is literally almost word for word a Murphy's Law. If it jams, force it. If it breaks, it needs replacing anyways.
If you
That
can't
is
find
fantastic.
it, grind it. That was our rule at the bike shop. Oh man, I need a 4.5 millimeter tool. Oh, we'll just take this 5 and turn it into a 4.5 then. That's easy. Boss, we need a 5 millimeter.
The CPI I ordered for me, folks, was the Ryzen series with AMD 9950, 64 gigs of DDR5, 4090 GPU, and Asus X670EA motherboard. Wow. Wow. Okay, you just went hard. But then again, if you're gonna buy a PC, spend it like future-proof it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely future-proof it. This PC, I don't have to do nothing to that for a long time. Okay. You can't grind it, CLX it. Also true.
You know what that means? Like, if you want to have a long relationship with your computer, we can make that happen for you.
Darton, if you want to truly future-proof, just use quad 4090s. I don't even know if you can do that.
Don't do that.
If you do, make sure you live in a very cold area because that's going to heat everything up.
They're inviting three friends over, and it's the sweetest LAN room ever. Nobody has to bring anything. It's just all set up.
5 gamers.
Quad
one PC.
4090s. Quad 4090s and a Threadripper 7995 WX. That sounds terrifying. The minimum specs for Roblox. Robert also mentions, by the way, I love that you guys do this. It brings a level of trust to me as a customer, being able to see the process. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Hunter mentions, had my PC coming on 4 years now, and it was an i9 9900K and a 3070 Ti with 32 gigs of RAM, and was starting to give me some issues with streaming and gaming simultaneous. So I went to y'all for a new one to last me at least another 45 years. Oh, that's awesome to hear. That's awesome. Great place to come to as well. Let's see here. Kind of. Look, all right, kind of hard because parts fly out sometimes. Ooh, there we go. Every year or 6 months. Wait, what?
There.
I missed something.
And now over here.
The 3060 in 2020, that should cost $4,000. Yes. Yes. Now, to jump back to a question that was asked earlier about the streaming requirements. So to give you an example, I stream at 1080p, 60 FPS, full sound. And I'm on a Ryzen 5 3600K, 3600X,
X, yeah.
I believe. Yeah, it's X. And it is, and I've got a 1070 card in there. That's it. I've got that and my AverMedia capture card. And since it does all of its onboard processing, because it has its own processor and RAM in there, it just passes everything through and it's perfect. So it really doesn't take a whole lot to stream. You just have to make sure you've got the bandwidth, and most importantly, the internet bandwidth, because that's another big one.
And then you need to play video games that gamers wouldn't play, or see playing, like Elden Ring, right,
Yeah.
DJ?
You shut up.
Be a good day for some Dark Souls on Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Robert Portugal says, here's the real question. Does the case size really matter?
No, size doesn't matter. It's all about how you use your case. It'll just depend on what you want going inside of it. So case sizes are going to dictate the performance that is coming out of your PC. We have our Scarabs, which are the smaller like ITX builds, and you can get the highest end hardware in those as well. So really, it's just about the footprint that you want of your case. Do you got room, and do you want a larger case or do you want a smaller case? Now, building in a smaller case, it can be a bit more challenging than a full-size case because you got a smaller box to work with. You got to make stuff fit, but it does not determine the performance of your PC.
Yes, I did my listen. I want points for being professional.
You
on that
did
one.
good, yes, DJ.
You
get to eat 3 pieces of candy every time you give a piece of candy out tonight.
And last question for here on Facebook for a second is, why did EVGA not make NVIDIA 40 series cards? I think they just got out of the biz.
Yes.
Yeah, they got out of the video card market a while back, which did make us all sad.
Fight us over on the... Oh, Chill Phil, hi. Says, next year, is CLX going to drop the Oracle hoodie in October? That is
Depends on demand, I'll tell you that.
I'm
is way
pushing
far
for the
above mine.
CLX
Cool.
tracksuit right now.
Yeah, dude, imagine that. I'm already all dripped out.
I
don't
know,
if can handle
I know,
anymore.
it's-
That's hilarious. Let's see here. Fight us mentions, my typical build for most of this year for streaming was a Ryzen 7700X with a Radeon 7800 XT or an RTX 4070, depending on region. NVIDIA is cheaper than AMD in regions like the UK. Interesting. Did not know that.
Sorry.
I thought it was weird those came on there.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. They usually just come in the box, but every once in a while they're
just
stuck
on there.
to them.
Okay. Now, cable mods are an interesting thing because the way that they kind of change the aesthetics of your system. Paul, how does that work?
All right, so we've got our cable mod cables right here. So how this works, we have a modular power supply right here, so none of the cables are soldered in, so you can get an aftermarket cable kit to add that extra finishing touch to your build. Now this does not affect performance, this is a aesthetic upgrade, but these do look really nice. So we'll go ahead and start getting these cable mod cables out.
Perfect.
Now, if you do want a cable kit and you're doing it on your own, you want to make sure that the cable kit that you buy is compatible with your power supply, because each power supply and even models within the same brand of power supply can have different connections and different wiring. So that's the big thing to look at. Just make sure the kit matches your power supply brand and model. Boom. Look at all these beautiful cables. Gonna match this black build nicely. So typically the cables will come individually wrapped or in bags like this. We like to just get the ones out that we need, put the rest in the accessory bag for the customer in case they ever upgrade and want to use the cables for that.
Nice. I got white cable, a white cable mod kit for mine, 7 all white build on the inside, and it looks really cool. The combs are such a neat idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sounds good, Fides. Sounds good. Appreciate it, man. Let's jump back down here. So you guys mentioned a capture card. I've never used one before and have already ordered my PC from CLX. Silly question. But can this be added, or would I have to now wait to receive the PC and just add it myself? That is a customer service question. Now here's the thing. If you're gaming and streaming on the same PC, you don't need a capture card. Capture card is for having a secondary thing. So if you are on the, if you're like bringing an Xbox, for example, then you'll need a capture card. But if you're just strictly doing PC gaming on the same PC, you might not need one. However, you can definitely get a hold of customer service ASAP and ask them.
If your order hasn't shipped yet, we can get it in there, but or we should be able to.
But good wires when designing your peanut is heat gun is very handy. I feel like that's questionable.
Just be careful with
Absolutely.
it, but yeah, it can definitely help loosen those cables up.
Oh, pin out. Got it.
Not heat gun, no.
Definitely.
Talking about wine, Pinot.
Well, that's what I
some white
thought. I was like,
wine, and Pinot
why would you
Grigio.
Why would you heat up a Pinot? That sounds like a bad idea. I like them cold.
Some people like their Heinekens warm, okay?
That is
A thing.
blasphemous.
It's a thing.
That is.
You've never had a
A
warm Heine? Oh, man. Oh,
Warm
No.
Heinies with the boys at 2:30 a.m. Let's go.
That sounds horrific. Let's see here. What is your favorite PC you guys have had the opportunity to build on the show?
Ooh. On the show. There have been so many good ones, but
Yeah.
maybe Jay Wong's giveaway, just because talking to Jay Wong was really cool.
Yeah, that was actually
But there's been so
we've
many
had some
good
really
ones.
great custom ones.
Yeah.
My favorite is probably going to be between seeing Mind Belt on the show and when we first did the Oracle. Oh yeah, there we go. Now that I've heard of Zombie bring the Guinness is warm, not Heineken.
What?
You've never had
Really?
now that I have.
Never had a
Yes,
warm
I have had a
Guinness.
warm Guinness.
I used to be a big Guinness
Well,
drinker too.
Germans just don't have any
I
beer that's
love it,
cold,
but it is so. It just filling. It's very filling. It's a thick beard.
Thick.
Beard. Nolan mentions, do y'all just sell parts or only computer builds? And what's the best place to order parts? My best friend Chris Sides was asking. Well, let me go ahead and let you know. So, Paul, take it away.
Yeah, so we sell computer builds. If you're just wanting to buy parts for some like DIY stuff, there's a bunch of different good places out there. I don't want to like name anything specifically, but just go with somewhere reputable is what I will say. I wouldn't go like eBay or like Facebook Marketplace or something like that. Somewhere well known that has a good, warranty, return policy, somewhere that'll take care of you if you get something defective.
Yep.
I think a lot of people use PC Part Picker. That's probably a
that's
good
exactly
one,
what I was
'cause
about to say.
It's not like it shows you where you'd be getting the parts from, so that's always a good option.
Yeah.
I haven't had to like do that in so long from working here. That's actually pretty nice.
Okay. So that right now, what they're doing now, I just want to point out that tray right there. That is the back panel that sits over some of the wiring, but that is where the hard drive mounts into. How many different places are there for hard drives in this case?
This case can house 2 hard drives on these 2 little platforms here. We can have one there and one on the top there. Or on the inside here, if we remove both of those, we can house up to 5 SSDs on this tray. So if we leave our HDDs on top, then we can hold 3 SDs underneath it and 2 hard drives. So they can hold quite a bit of storage, even though it's just a sleeve.
Look at these beautiful cable combs I have installed.
There we go. That's a great shot of them. It straightens them all out. They look great, well organized. That's gonna be great. That's gonna be grand. I love it.
Yeah, now I gotta get the other ones. Cable combs are a little tedious, but I do it with love.
I remember when Hayden ended up he pulled out all of my black cable combs that were on there and put clear ones on. In Need of Temperance says, what is Paul's costume?
He's a Florida man. According to chat early. According to early chat, he's a Florida man. According to Nicole, that's not very nice.
No. I'm looking for any excuse to wear my beautiful track suits. These things are extremely comfortable. 10 out of 10 would recommend. This one costs $3,000 though, so Got to be,
God.
careful. It's pure. It's 24 karat sleeves.
JC mentions
Don't look it
how
up
much
on Amazon.
how much can I get a PC with Ryzen 7 from y'all? I just want a good PC enough to run any games that are going to be coming out in the future and be able to stream. Are you wanting to stream from the same machine, or are you going to be streaming from a separate machine?
1, 2, 3, 4 SATA.
4 SATAs. All right.
But if you want to do it with a Ryzen 7, we've got, we do have a huge section of our RTS, our ready to ship builds, but you can also build your own computer exactly the way you want it. Head on over to clxgaming.com, and there's a lot of ways and things you can play around with.
You need me to get anything out of box, Zach, while I'm doing these? I
no,
can start
I'm gonna do some
unboxing
other
something.
stuff.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Here we go.
finish up the fan.
We got a lot of wiring on this build, a lot of wiring maintenance on this build.
Yes.
And why is that?
9 fans, so that means we've got 2 fan controllers, so that's what Zach's been busting out right there. So each fan controller can hold 8 of these Game DS fans. They come with a cable that you can daisy chain the boxes together, so that's what we use. So we've got 8 fans on one box, the last single fan on the other, and that way they're all synced up, and when you want to change the lights or fan speed or anything like that, they all go at the same time.
Trying
Paul,
to keep up with my water.
have you heard of the Vancouver
The Van-
Canucks?
The Canucks?
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm so glad you
Yeah.
asked that. I got into hockey for the Stanley Cup last year, and I've been watching so much hockey this year. It's like, I like sports, but hockey has been awesome. So we have a local team, the Wichita Thunder.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are a farm team for the San Jose Sharks. So the San Jose Sharks have been my NHL team that I'm watching. There's so many NHL games on, but we started out 0-8. We lost our first 8 games. And then we were going to lose our 9th game a couple days ago. And I turned it off. There was like 5 minutes left in the third period. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to bed. It's late. And then they came back and won it in overtime. I'm like, oh, I missed that. And then we won the other night too. So go Sharks. Yeah, I've been
JC,
watching
just
a lot of hockey. I've been watching a lot of hockey. My neighbor, we've got another family in our neighborhood that has kids around the same age as ours. And he plays hockey. So he's been getting me into it as well.
Jumping back over here to the YouTube side, JC mentions that you're going to take a look at the site now. Good, awesome. And asked if 2,000 is enough for a decent gaming build. Yes, 2,000 is definitely enough for a good build.
Go to the
$2
ready
grand,
to
you're gonna
ships.
get a lot.
Yeah,
everything you want.
Ironically, that's exactly what I told him. I was like, yeah, head on over to the RTS section. The ready to ship is going to give you a good idea of what you can, what your value for your money is going to take a look like. And then you can go and edit it.
Yeah, set it up to where pick the games and the frequencies you want to play at, and then here you go.
Let's see here.
This is totally Mr. Cho. Yeah, this is Mr. Cho style right here.
I grew up, Corky Cube. I grew up playing hockey. Nice. Paul's outfit kind of makes me think of that dude in The Hangover. Mr. Cho, yes. All right, there you go.
Dude, I wore this to the Magic store the other day. It was great.
Oh, God, that's hilarious. Mika Sensei, I haven't been keeping up with PC components coming up the last 2 years, and now I'm all confused. So I just used the AI configurator on the CLX site, and it cooked up something that I'm satisfied with. It's so helpful. Oh my gosh,
Nice.
that's awesome.
Very nice.
That is
yeah,
awesome.
that's a relatively new thing that we had been working on. So glad to hear that it worked good for you.
The Panthers lost their preseason game versus Tampa Bay.
Oof.
Ooh.
Did
That's
Tampa
rough.
win last night? There was the thing that's crazy about hockey getting into it is every night there's 4 or 5 games, just one right after the other. So I've just been watching every single one of them. My buddies who also watches hockey is a big Red Wings fan, so we watched that game last night. But
The power.
power supply? All right. I think I've got all the combs
It was
installed for what we need. So yeah, let's get our power supply out, and then we'll get our video card out pretty quickly after that.
I just remember that weekend we were at TwitchCon, and once I was done with my things, I would head on over to the to Bub's at the ballpark down in San Diego. They have this great wing joint, and we would get a booth and just sit there, and they had all 5 football games, and it was ADHD joy because I was just doing this the whole time. I was finally at a space where my brain was keeping up with it. Wasn't ahead of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love watching football. The Chiefs are finally good, so that's been a really fun few years. Hopefully we got a dynasty coming. But football, it's like your team only plays once a week. So
Yeah.
I stopped watching sports when Jordan stopped dunking over people.
yeah, that's probably that's a fine, get out while you're ahead, I guess.
You can tell today's generation when they're like, "Who's Jordan?" And you're like, I'm gonna have a heart attack right now.
Is that
LeBron and his
still a
son
thing?
like got subbed in at the same time the other night. That was a pretty cool, regardless of how you feel about them. That's a pretty cool
Yeah.
moment for like a father and
yeah.
son combo to be on the same team
Yeah.
going in there. It's pretty cool.
Tag team.
Tag team, back again. No. Let's talk about the power supply unit. We've got an EVGA. Y'all know how much we love our EVGA people. It's a Supernova 750 watt GT 80 plus gold, and it is modular. What in the world does that mean? And is there something other than modular?
Yes, so this is a modular power supply, so none of the cables are pre-soldered in, which is why we can use these awesome looking cables. So our cables will plug into here. Now we won't ever fill, well, I shouldn't say ever. 99% of the time you don't fill up all these ports. There's just extra there for if you need them. But the nice thing about this is Zach's installing our power supply cables right now in the build without having the power supply installed in the system. So that's probably the biggest the nicest thing about working with a modular power supply. Now they do cost a little bit more than their non-modular versions, and what a non-modular is all these cables that we're plugging in come pre-soldered in, so it's a little bit more messy to work with. You can definitely make them look good, but it just takes a little bit more time to build with it.
Jumping back over to the Facebook side real quick. What's up? Gavin McLeod is here. What's up? Welcome back. Robert mentions the builder definitely helped me, although I used ChatGPT to compare and contrast options based on value, performance, and compatibility. Would be neat if the CLX AI builder could answer more questions about the components. Interesting
I
suggestion.
do what I
That is a good
can. I do what I
suggestion.
can.
Yeah, it's actually not AI. It's just Zach behind the keyboard.
Right.
Oh
There
God,
it
that's
is.
scary.
No, that's
GPS.
funny. He's like pitting AI against the other AI. Like, uh-oh. But no, that is a good suggestion. We will be constantly updating it and making it better and doing improvements like that. So that's good. That's good feedback.
GP Stuntman wants to know, what's the warranty on that power supply unit?
So on all of our systems, just base level, you get a 1-year warranty. You also get lifetime tech support on any of our builds. You can't upgrade that warranty further, though, to 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's lifetime technical support and labor. So, let's go Sharks, says Rogue. Nice.
Yeah, let's go
Nice.
Sharks. We've won 2 games now. I was worried we were going to go 0-10. I was like, I picked a bad team to start being a fan of, but we'll get there. One of these days, you guys will see me in a Sharks jersey up here.
Ronham mentioned, Ronham76. I finally purchased my gaming PC. It's a CLX set, 14900KF, 32 gigs of DDR5 5600, and a 2 terabyte SSD. Heck yeah,
Very
let's
nice.
go.
Very nice.
That's gonna be awesome. Over here on the kick side, Expectation Met. Hello. How old is AM4? I'm still using it and was curious. Are we at the beginning of the DDR5 era now? And now that AM5 is mostly what's being supported?
So AM4 has been out for a while. I don't remember like the first what year it was when it first came out, but it's been out for a while. It's still solid. DDR4 is still great, but yeah, we are at the beginning of the DDR5 era. It started a few months ago, and just, this time next year, pretty much everything's going to be DDR5, and that's when DDR4 will be considered old. But DDR4 is still really fast. I'm still using it in my system.
Let's see here. Elite. Yeah, currently we do not have a current giveaway happening right now, so there's nothing to show you there. I'm honestly still kind of jazzed about the idea of if there was ever going to be an Oracle hoodie. That's kind of cool.
That's right, Hashim. And it's not only the jacket. Let me scoot back a little bit.
Oh yeah.
We got the matching pants as well.
yeah.
We got the whole suit.
That is the suit. And the shoes match too.
Yeah, I do have my white Adidas on. Well, they're like cream, I
gold.
guess.
Yep.
This is what I'm wearing tonight. I just got to get. I just need to paint. Well, no. Once I said it, I realized how terrible it sounded. I was gonna say like I just wanted to get some black face paint for just right here, so that the cheeks will just look dark. And then I realized that's probably inappropriate. Hot damn! I did 4 in 2 months. Nice. Andrew says, I just upgraded my DDR4 from 8 gigs to 16 gigs, and I'm very happy with the results. Nice.
There you go. Yeah, 16 gigs is becoming the new standard, it seems like. So, yeah, that's good.
Robert Portugal down on the Facebook side said, is PCIe 6 a thing now? I don't ever see those options. It's only PCIe 5.
Yeah, I'm not sure if PCIe 6.0 is out yet. A lot of times, the reason why I'm like hedging a little bit is because a lot of times the new stuff will come out and it will exist, but it won't really hit the market for a while. So that will come out, and what we're talking about there is just a generation of PCIe. So as the generations get higher, the speeds get faster, kind of like NVMe being Gen 5 versus Gen 4. And PCIe and NVMe are both backwards compatible. So let's say you had a PCIe 10 slot, whenever that comes out, it should work with all the ones before it.
Let's see here. You want me to... Nolan's asking me to put it on. Do you want me to put it on? All right, I'll put it on here real quick.
Okay, and then I can't do that.
The thing is, this thing is so hot.
So, I'm going to...
Now you look like my great-great-grandfather.
Hey, now.
Also,
DJ said
so is that or it says this.
I don't know if that's a good joke or not.
Yeah. I don't know if I sound worse or echoey or anything, but there it is.
Welcome to the show.
Okay, there. That's good. That looks pretty.
Oh. Now I get what they went through in Mission Impossible constantly. You ever notice they pull those things off and they're not sweating underneath them?
So then we're going to do that one up that.
Yeah, didn't the mouth moved? I know, right?
Ow,
It's
whoop,
cool.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Calm down, Zachary.
Is that mask from the band Slipknot? I do not believe so. But
Shoink.
actually, I think I know who Slipknot is.
What? You think you know who Slipknot is? Slipknot's amazing. I think I've seen them probably like almost 10 times. Maybe that's some... I guess they are kind of getting old, huh?
Oh, those guys. Yeah, I know who Slipknot is. Slipknot is some wild people.
Good cable management. Oh, man, this case has phenomenal cable management.
Look at that.
Because, as Paul mentioned earlier, it can house 2 computers in it, so they have enough routing to where you can route your cables any way to make all of your equipment fit back here. So
We take a lot of time in our cable management. When you're buying a PC from us, we want to give you the absolute best looking product we can. So that's why we use zip ties. Well, you definitely, if you had this case at home, you wouldn't need to use them. You could use the tie downs that come in the case, but we like doing this because it just makes the system look better.
Yeah, it's a lot easier.
righty, let's go ahead.
Cable is just working his phenomenal cable powers. Yes.
We're gonna do it that way.
Oh, my goodness. And welcome on over to the TikTok side. If you're here and have a question, please feel free to ask. That's what we do. Andrew Tuff says, I've read a bunch online that you shouldn't mix and match PSU cables. Does that not apply to aftermarket sets?
So if you're referring to like these modular power supply cables, even if you don't have this cable mod kit, they obviously come with cables. Yes, you definitely don't want to mix and match those between brands. You can, and most likely will, fry your components. If we had, let's say, a different brand power supply and we try to plug those into this EVGA power supply, it's going to be pinned differently, so it's going to send voltage and power to different areas than it should, which can cause stuff to fry. Now, hopefully, most power supplies are dummy-proofed, where there'll be little notches cut into the pins that actually go into the power supply to where it won't let you get one in there, but, you know, I wouldn't hang a hat on that.
Speaking from experience, it's I've fried hard drives and fans from using the wrong SATA cable. So, this has a nice 4 terabyte hard drive. If you just got back from Circuit City with a 16 terabyte hard drive so that you could have all of your security cameras download onto that, and you have to plug in an extra, definitely for sure make sure that cable belongs to. That's why, like Paul
We've had
said
to play
earlier,
the roulette every now and then.
he said earlier, this is a cable mod kit, but this is a cable mod kit for this specific power supply, and it does vary because the cables will be different between a 750 and an 850 and 1,000 watt. So it's just the amount of power. You don't want to fry something. It's a lot easier to fix fans than fixing like a motherboard or a hard drive. So
for sure.
That was one of the biggest things that I always found was interesting is that none of them are the same.
Yeah, and they will all, the ends will all look the same, which is kind of unfortunate from far away. If you look really closely at them, there might be some different cutouts that will tell you, will show you that they're different. But it's a 24-pin connector.
Yeah. Look at them little fans. I like it. Now that, of course, is our RTX 40. Wait,
60.
just lost my spot. 4060. It's an 8 gig card. Now it's only got 2 fans, so it's doesn't look super heavy. How does it feel?
Like you ate half of your Taco Bell burrito and you have a little bit left.
Oh wow. Okay, so it's light. So are we gonna need an anti-sag device?
Negatore.
Awesome. This should be an industry standard. You would think, Corky.
I agree, Corky.
Yeah.
Let's start a petition. Industry standard for RGB connections and power supply connections. Let's call our senators.
Just because they have so much of an influence.
Don't forget to change your clocks for daylight savings time.
On Friday?
On Sunday.
On Sunday, there we go.
It's Sunday, it's like Saturday night into Sunday.
Fall back so we gain an hour.
No.
But we lose an hour.
We lose.
That means it's going to be like dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Which I still can't stand.
We used all of our brain power to figure that out the other day.
Mika Sensei asked the question, says, does it matter much between using an HDD versus an M.2 for the secondary storage? I don't remember if M.2 is usually faster and less prone to being corrupted versus a hard disk drive. I'm fairly paranoid sometimes and prefer to reduce as much possible for the possibility of the failure in the future. Excellent question.
Sure.
Paul?
Yeah, so short answer, I would say no, it doesn't really matter for secondary storage. Now, that being said, these hard disk drives, the data is stored, magnetically on them. So over time, typically, I think the average life before you start seeing degradation is around 10 years. So you do have a long time. That being said, if you do have your game stored on a second drive, and you're using a hard disk drive versus an M.2, you are going to see, higher load times in those games that are stored on the mechanical drive. So I wouldn't say that it matters much, especially if it's just like photos, videos, stuff like that. If you have all your games on one, it might matter a little bit more. Me personally, I have my huge Steam library on an 8 terabyte hard disk drive mechanical. I don't really notice, any loss of performance there. But if you do want to be extra careful, the M.2s are going to be more reliable than the hard disk drives. But I would still go with a hard disk drive for a bunch of extra storage and just have a backup on a USB drive or something, or another drive like that in case anything goes wrong.
All right, I'm going to jump over here to Facebook, and then I'm coming up to you, JC, on YouTube. So Facebook, we've got Robert who asks, just re-asking because I'm curious, does DDR5 6000 matter? Is there a big difference in the megahertz? How does DDR4 stack up comparatively?
So if you want to run like mem tests, obviously your 6000 DDR5 is going to perform better than any speed of DDR4. That being said, what matters to me is the frame rates in the games that I'm playing, which I don't notice a huge difference. Now that being said, I'm still using DDR4. I haven't gamed hardly at all on DDR5, but just in tests that I've seen and just with being in the industry for a long time, I don't notice a huge increase in the games that I play. Now, if you're running at higher resolutions, you know, that can have more of an impact depending on what CPU you have as well.
And I went from DDR3 or DDR4 to DDR5, and I went from 16 gigs to 64. Ooh. And just the jump in that was wild, absolutely wild. And for me, it did make a difference.
Yeah,
so
I think
JC
when you're going up
mentions
in capacity, that's when you'll notice the difference more than like going up in speed.
And then JC mentions, says, y'all have a PC with an Intel 9 for close to 2000. I think I'm going to go with that. Do y'all suggest streaming on a different PC than you're running your games on? I personally believe, I'm a firm believer in the dual PC setup. So I have a PC down here. This is my production PC, and that is my gaming PC. That way, I don't have to worry about anything streaming-wise affecting the games, and I don't have to worry about the game affecting my stream. But that's just me. And again, you don't need something super crazy powerful to stream with.
Spooky time.
So look at that. That looks so good. Okay, now while they're getting this whole thing put together, what I want to do is take you on a little bit of an adventure. We are going to jump over because I love the fact that that JC went over and looked and found one. So we're going to take a look at our website. It is clxgaming.com. So we make it as easy as possible for you to find the PC of your dreams, whether you're looking to build it yourself. We pretty much are a one-stop shopping center. You want a small ITX build? Great. You want a big one? We've got those too. We carry Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, Radeon. We've got multiple different options, whether you want it to be liquid cooled in a closed loop system, whether you want an open loop system, you can choose those things. We offer upgrades. So like if you want to overclock your GPU or overclock your CPU, we can do that. And the best part is you can't pick the wrong thing for your build, because if you do, it's that little button that just went from green to yellow. Yeah. Well, that means there's a problem. Right here for this, it's that we have a graphics card that is not supported by, there's not enough power in your PSU. So it's going to say, okay, if you want this graphics card, you have to choose one of these power supply units. But if you want this power supply unit, you're going to have to go with one of these graphics cards. Once you select the option to fix it, it turns green and goes right back. And then you can take a look at other things. Do you want extra hard drives? Do you need streaming gear? We have Beacon Mix Creates. We have Beacon Mics. We have Elgato products. And we've got shirts. I almost called it a hoodie. But or windbreakers, which are really, really fun. But again, depending on what you need, especially if you're just starting a brand new system, we've got everything from keyboards, mice, controllers, headphones, microphones, speakers, monitors, and then little monitors. We've got routers. We even have chairs. So you can get literally everything here. Now, the one thing that I want to point out is what JC did. And we're going to go over and take a look at the RTS, or our ready to ship section. Now, here is a great way, if you're not quite sure what to put or what to get, it's a great way to kind of take a look at some of our features. And we have everything from entry level to ultra high performance. And they will give you a great idea as a baseline of, all right, this is what I need. This is what's going to be in something for this price. You can select it, and trust me, these have already been tested, built by our folks right there in Wichita, Kansas, and they're looking for a new home. Who knows, that home might just be yours. So for all of your future PC needs, head on over to clxgaming.com and see what we can do for you. Robert mentioned, thank you guys so much for all the answers. For going through all the thorough answers. Wow, DJ Reed. This is, I love what you folks do. Thank you. We love it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we appreciate
It's a lot of fun. Love the way y'all's cases look. Yeah, they're fantastic. All right, so let's. It's the moment of truth. I'm excited because these are always gorgeous when we turn them on. Ready.
Oh yes. The red is nice. Ooh, oh yeah.
Yeah, that actually looks great behind there. Wow. Yep, that is awesome. This, of course, is an Oracle build, and it is going for our friend Kevin in Massachusetts. So let's go back through everything that's going to be in Kevin's build just one more time, so that you all know exactly what we've got going on here. We've got a CLX Neo Cube Mirror Oracle Edition with an AMD Ryzen 9 5950X mounted on a motherboard. It's an ASRock B550 Phantom Gaming for AC. We've got a Nucleus, EK Nucleus AIO on that processor, along with 64 gigs of G-Skill DDR4 3600, and we've got that NVIDIA RTX 4060. The operating system's got a 4 terabyte 990 Pro by Samsung. The secondary drive is a 4 terabyte Seagate Barracuda. We've got 9 Game Days Aeolus M2 fans in there, plus a black and red cable sleeve kit that's on that EVGA Supernova 750 watt GT80 Plus Gold modular power supply. And we've also got that Creative Labs Sound Blaster AE5 Plus. So there we go. Look at that. Oh, I love it. Oh, yeah. Dude, that's fantastic. Sick. Absolutely fantastic. That is awesome. So, in just a few minutes, we are going to actually show you something that's really fun. We went obviously to DreamHack Dallas, and we wanted to show you a little bit of what happens there. Yep, DreamHack Atlanta. There we go. There we are. But before we jump to that, we want to just let you know the show happens every Tuesday and Thursday, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific. That is 2 Eastern. And we do it right here on our channels. You can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/CLXgaming, TV on Kick at kick.com/CLXgaming. Everything else is CLX Gaming. So, to find out what's going on with the latest and greatest of all things with CLX Gaming, yeah, you can head over to our socials. It is YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Threads, and it's all at CLX Gaming. If you want to jump into our Discord and ask questions, or jump in there and just talk to a whole bunch of other like-minded PC enthusiasts, you can do so at discord.gg/CLXgaming. So, with that being said, I'll be seeing you all in just a little bit, where I'm going to be playing some Dead by Daylight. But first, let's take a look at what happened in Atlanta. So on behalf of Jason and Kyle, Paul, and Zach, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Don't go away. We've got more coming up in just a moment.
Bye, everybody. Happy Halloween.
Hello, everybody. It's DJ Blue PDX with CLX Gaming, and we're live from DreamHack in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's go inside and see what's happening. Debut of the CLX booth. It's the first time we've done one. As you can see, the team is right behind me, and they are taking care of everything we need. We've got gaming, we've got sim racing, I'm spinning tunes. What more could you ask for?
right there. We got a record 1,700 viewers in chat yesterday.
What up, CLX? They provided all these awesome computers here. They did an amazing job, chat. They did an amazing job.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Atlanta. Thank you, DreamHack. It's been 8 years that we've been doing this, and you guys have been very welcoming. So thank you guys very much.